Y'all don't hear us. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen.
Hey, pack your bag, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind, we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave. Hey,
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
You landed on the tarmac, fresh off the boat. Talking about y'all building nothing, man, you choking on the note. My ancestors the reason that this country even breathes. Picked the cotton, built the White House, planted the seed. Jim Crow laws, redlined the map, we was the target. You think that struggle's a costume, man, you can't mark it. We fought the wars, we bled the blood, we died for our future's chance. And you come here and give our legacy a side eye while throwing shade on the guard. While you benefit from doors we kicked down with our last breath. Now you spit on the architects who stared down death. Disrespectful, that's disrespectful, ungrateful. A slap in the face, the only people who gave a fuck. So let me show your ungrateful ass to the right place.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind and we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and
The
fly on.
passport, the visa, the privilege to be here. Cause my grandma did march for y'all, so disappear from our land. You cosplaying our pain. Think it's a trend you can borrow, but you ain't inherit the ghosts of our sorrow. We the foundation, the bedrock, the soil, and the root. You not no branch on our tree, and unproductive people always cosplaying me.
Talking about we ain't do nothing, you lost your mind. We built this from nothing, time after time.
From the beginning to now, we've been the backbone and muscle. Why you look down on the struggle and cause a whole tussle? That energy style with discussing is whack. So let's make it clear, there's no turning back.
This land is paid for in full.
In blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams deferred.
You don't get to come into a house we built from the dirt and telling Black America y'all ain't worth nothing. That's a violation, facts.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
This our soil, on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
Show respect, this our ground. Y'all just tenants on a leash.
Or get the step.
Show no respect to Black America, so leave.
I don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your goodies, I can just fly on.
I don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your goodies, I can just fly on.
Yeah, fly little birdies.
Fly on back to where you came from.
This ain't for you. This cell is sacred.
We said what we said,
It's time.
for y'all to go home. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, far away from here. Bye bye, little birds.
We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good afternoon on the West Coast. Good afternoon in the Central. Good afternoon in the Mountain. Good evening, actually, in the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the reparationist perspective, bringing you those Negro Freedmen hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for delineation, making the case for deportations, y'all, and making the case for weaponizing our votes, socializing our suffering, family. How y'all doing today, family? I see you. Y'all are in the chat early. I love it. I see you, Brewski. I see you, Root Trackers by Yaira, James Brown, Sheena 209. Who else is up in here? American. Oh, I love y'all, family. Y'all just, whenever y'all see my little notice, y'all try to come over here and show your sisters some love, and I'm forever and eternally grateful to each and every one of you. I know y'all did love that intro. It was everything. I kept trying to think, how can I incorporate this richness, this epic moment of acknowledgement of the FBA, of acknowledgement, okay, of the tether terms? Like, okay, some of our white folks is actually listening to us. I told y'all they was listening to us. I told y'all they be watching the reparationist perspective. I might be small, but I am mighty. They're watching a lot of the new Black media. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. That was his brain trust. Well, actually, no. That was not his brain trust. It was borrowed. It was borrowed. I do believe, if my memory serves me, Dr. Claude Anderson termed us foundational Black Americans. So let's give a shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson for creating the term foundational Black American, and to Tariq Nasheed for making it go viral. Yes, I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for that. Because, like I always tell y'all, the revolution is being social mediaized, okay? And don't listen to people who tell you that you got to get out in these streets. Now, you can get out in these streets if you want to, but when you got 15 million of, Hispanics out this piece of California, and you got 2 million of us, where you think I'm going to sound the alarm? We've lost the war here. It's finished. I'm trying to save the rest of y'all, okay? Now, I'm not lying to y'all today because, Lord, my hair is standing all over its head. My daughter is preparing to return to college. Yes, Dr. Claude Anderson, the master teacher. Y'all hear him in my intro, right? When he telling y'all that y'all are now fourth-class citizens in the country your ancestors built with your lives because y'all didn't do what I've been advising since 2016, weaponize your vote and socialize your suffering. Y'all, probably not my people. My tribe is usually smarter than that. They either set it out, which they already know I don't agree with, but at least they stayed out the way, or they voted for Trump. 28% shout out to you for doing what damn had to be done, because you can rest assured, had we not gotten out there and did what had to be done, had the immigrants and the illegals not gone out here and voted for Trump because they thought that we could be deported, where would we be with Kamala and Tampon Timmy in charge? Anywho, I digress. My hair is all over its head. I didn't make it to church today. My baby girl is headed back to college. And if you hear the washer going, it's just Friedman life, y'all. I got so much to do. She leaves early in the morning. And I said, let me get this up and out before I go another day. I meant to come to you yesterday, but life is just lifing, y'all. So I get to y'all when I can. And I thank y'all for just rolling with your sister, okay? Let's get into it. We're going to get into it, okay? Because I don't want to belabor. I did want to touch on how Marian Adelson, who is an Israel puppeteer, has funded Byron Donaldson, the very Jamaican Byron Donaldson, $45 million so that he can win that election down there in Florida. Okay, now let me tell you something, family. Be encouraged, because Kamala had $2 billion and we got Trump installed. No, he wasn't installed. We got out here and did what we had to do to get Trump in office. So be encouraged. All the money on the planet, with the help of the ancestors, cannot defeat the Negro freedmen. So don't you believe for one second these Zionists, Ionists say, we got to do pig Latin over here, y'all, because they love to strike my channel. Don't believe for one second that these Ionist OJs are actually going to defeat the plan of the ancestors. Please don't believe that. I know that it's easy to judge by appearance that they've got all the money, but we've got the power of our votes. And when these type of messages go viral, we can get more people in our tribe to go out here and vote against the Demonrats in the same way they implored upon our people to vote against Trump in 2020. I still believe they stole that election, but that's a whole nother broadcast. I'm just going to try to stay in my lane. I've got a lot to show you, because in this episode, I wanted to wrap up Minnesota, because I still got to tackle Ohio. I got to go and look at the punkery happening in New York. I got to share with y'all all the punkery going on in Chicago. I got so much to share, but we're going to chew this elephant one bite at a time. Now, I've already dealt with a front end of the fraud Somalis and the Demonrat enablers. But I really want to drill down in this particular broadcast on the Demonrat enabler side, because I don't know what y'all seen. And of course, I got to memorialize things here. And of course, I love talking in pictures. I love the TikToks and the X-Files and the Screw Tubes and the shorts. I love to weigh in because there's some rich things happening out here in the social media spaces that I need to share, because that's just me as a creative lover of movies. I was born to talk. You already know. So I got some funny stuff to share with y'all too. So we're going to laugh a little bit, and we're going to talk about these demon rats crashing all the way out over these immigrants. They have never shed a tear for the Negro freedmen in the way they are crashing out for illegals and for immigrants in this country, because I need to make the case for why we need to get out here in 26 midterm and defeat the demon rats. Again in 28, again in 30, again in 32, until they're begging us to cut our checks. So let's get into it if we go get into it, y'all. Thank you so much. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Let me show my little thing. If you'd like to bless the broadcast, it's scrolling in the bar below. Thank you in advance. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is going to be rich. Once again, it's live. So if things lag, I'll tighten it up in the edit. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Where do I want to go first? This is going to be so much fun. Annoying, but fun at the same time. I got some funny. Oh.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up. Because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
I just had to share that with you all. It is the most hilarious thing. I just love it. I love it. Now, what I wanted to point out with this obscene video, I mean, clearly it's babies, but you get the idea. It is actually Tampon Timmy trying to blame Somali fraud on everybody under the sun, but whom it rests with. His lack of leadership, his lack of governance. Now, the fact that you know that he is lying through his teeth is that you can't name me not one Negro freedman that's gotten away with billions of dollars worth of fraud in the over 600 years we've been here. You can't single that out where we have gotten away with the things that these demon rats try to displace on everyone especially us. This is what happens when you sit in your comfort zone, when you stay out of it. You really get to see the betrayal of the Demonrats, who Negro freedmen have given several trifectas to. You get to see their abject disdain for us. They're either weaponizing our never-ending Holocaust to make excuses for these immigrants and these illegals to be in the country of our ancestors. They make excuses to deny us reparations. Why? I told you it's an oxymoron. Immigration and illegals and reparations are abjectly opposed, diametrically opposed. How in the world can any critical thinking Negro freedman believe these Demonrats when they weaponize our fight for reparations while trying to get us caught up in a perpetual cycle of studies? Studies, oh, by the way, that are never a condition for giving away billions in fraud money while they line their own pockets. I'm going to show you. They're giving away billions of our reparations to replace us, to ethnically cleanse us and our justice claim. And there goes the power of our vote. When they bring these immigrants and illegals into our communities and allow them to get away with this level of fraud, in addition to the fraud, they're giving them free health care, giving them free cash aid, giving them free food stamps, giving them free housing, giving them free job fairs, and demanding that we, as Negro freedmen, learn their language, learn to speak Spanish just to get a job interview. And when we don't, you can speak Spanish as fluently as Pedro. You don't have the complexion for hire. This is your Demonrats, and like I said, I'm using my channel and my voice to defeat them every election cycle for about as long as our people have been niggardly voting for this. They ain't gave a damn about themselves other than the boomers who are sitting comfortable. They don't reverse their mortgages, ain't leaving nothing to the family, ain't leaving nothing to the line. They reverse their mortgages and they just want to die in peace. Well, I'm here to tell you, as a Gen Xer, there will be no peace as long as one of mine and one of yours is roaming this earth. There will be no peace. I will come on here whatever hour, however tired, with my hair standing on my head. It don't matter to me. I'm going to be here riding for the Negro freedmen that I am. I am tribal up in this piece, and I've learned from the best. Those that have come here to take. They give zero damns that we have to do without for them to have advantage. And you can't go nowhere in the free world and get the advantage that they have materialized in this country with the help of our elected officials, who, oh, by the way, are by and large immigrant. Because the Negro freedman has been niggardly stuck on identity and respectability parlay tricks. We got millennials. We got Gen Zs. We got all these babies coming up. What kind of country are they going to have if we just continue voting Demonrat? I'm not talking about a vote for the repugnant clans. I'm telling you to weaponize the vote the way the Demonrats are expecting you to do in 26. They are hopeful to crash out hard enough for people who don't give a damn about you, that you will get to these polls in 26, or that they can allow enough illegals at the polls in 26 to vote them in, enough immigrants to be aggravated with ICE Okay, they want to get them in the lather. They love the political theatrics of it all. Because that way, the Negro freedmen in their empathy won't demand any tangibles. And so I'm here to expose them. I'm here to defeat them every opportunity I get as long as God gives me breath. Let's keep going. But I wanted you to see how in that little funny commercial, okay, that little funny bit I showed you, I needed, and co-host, keep it lit. I am going to come and read your illustrious comments towards the end of the broadcast. But you know, when I'm cooking, child, I just can't take time to read like that. Because I'm just, me and the spirits are cooking, okay? Me and the spirit, me and the ancestors are cooking right now. So I can't, but I'll be over. Anywho, like I was saying, I wanted to show you how these demon rats are crashing out and trying to, like they always do, displace the foul, thieving behavior of these ingrates called immigrants and illegals. They're trying to displace it on everybody. But my biggest concern is that their tampon Timmy is trying to accuse that this goes on in every community, with every culture of people, with every lineage of people in this country. No, the hell it does not. It goes on with the glacier donkey who is an immigrant. And it goes on with the Crayolas who are immigrants. And it goes on with the illegals. Don't put this on Negro freedmen ever. And it incenses me when they do. Let's keep going. Y'all might have to adjust your volumes because, you know, listen, when I get excited, I get passionate and it gets loud. So please adjust your volumes accordingly. I'm not screaming at you. I'm screaming at the puckery of it all. The stakes are extremely high, family. Let me go on. I can't worry about any order at this. Well, let me try one more. I'm going to try one more thing. Because there was something I wanted to follow that up with. Here we go. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. And so this is what followed. After this, Tampon Timmy was gaslighting the nation and the world about everybody, all the groups committing fraud akin to the fraud Somalis. This is what happened. Stand by.
In the middle of a $1 billion fraud reckoning, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is walking away from another term. Minnesota is still dealing with the fallout from the massive Somali fraud cases tied to childcare and social service programs. And Walz says defending himself is wasting the time he needs to do his job properly.
Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year.
A New York Times investigation in December put a national spotlight on widespread fraud in Minnesota, much of it tied to the program serving the state's Somali community. According to federal prosecutors, more than $1 billion in taxpayer money were stolen in at least 3 of these schemes. So far, more than 70 people have been charged, and total losses across the cases now top $1 billion. Now, after the article, employees at the Minnesota Department of Human Services publicly criticized Walz, saying he ignored early signs of fraud. In a post on X, they accused the governor of retaliating against whistleblowers instead of working to stop the fraud. They claim warnings were raised about hundreds of millions of dollars being stolen from programs like child care assistance, Medicaid, and Feeding Our Future. Money they say was ultimately spent on luxury items and sent overseas. Walz has heavily pushed back on these accusations. Like last week, he shared an article he wrote for the Minnesota Tribune titled, "We Take Fraud Seriously. Here's what we've done to stop it," referring cases to law enforcement auditing high-risk programs and shutting down problem areas. He also highlighted changes within state government, including hiring a new director of program integrity, bringing in outside auditors, and creating a specialized fraud unit within the Bureau of
I just want to interject here. If you were doing all this, Tampon Timmy, prior to it being discovered that we're now approaching $10 billion in fraud, then how do we get here? Let's keep going.
Criminal apprehension. Walz ended his statement with a clear warning. Quote, anyone committing fraud in Minnesota will be caught and prosecuted. Now, the big question is, who's filling his Democratic seat? Well, according to reports, Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar is rumored to be considering a run. The New York Times.
Hell no, Minnesota. You better defeat these demon rats, because more of the same is going down. Had Trump not been elected, imagine how much more of this would have gone off the radar while our people suffer the highest rates of evictions. Let's go.
Times says she and Walz met privately over the weekend where he shared his plans and she expressed interest. So far, Klobuchar hasn't made any public comments. And with Walz stepping aside, the race to clean up the mess and lead Minnesota forward may just be getting started. In the middle of $1 billion fraud reckoning, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is walking away from another term.
Get them ancestors. That's all I can say to that. Get them ancestors. Get them all. Get them all. I want to see all these demon rats go to jail. Because what is happening, it's happening in every demon radically ran city and state in the entire country. Especially here in California. I've already done that broadcast where I shared with you that they are expecting the fraud in California to reach $100 billion. This is where they need to be. They need to end Newsom's race for presidency. Because if he is elected, the nation will go the way of California. And that will be the end of the line for the Negro freedmen. You can trust and believe that is the intent of the Demon Rat Party, to ethnically cleanse us by economic genocide and to upend our justice claim that they've already spent. Not that they can't print more money. Listen, I told y'all the debt is 6.2 quadrillion. I need to do that and more. It's 6.2 quadrillion on the low end. Okay? Now, my baby shared with me, who was that? Was it Pinky? I can't recall. The last broadcast, I do believe the name of the author that came up with that number was Thomas Kramer. If my memory serves me, okay, I will try to look that up and give you that exactly. But yeah, 6.2 quadrillion was 3 cents an hour, 18 hours a day. I can't remember the time frame. If any of you geniuses in the chat can recall the time frame Thomas Kramer was working with, please put it. But I want you to understand what Thomas was calculating was just for slavery. I'm seeking reparations for Jim Crow and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. And if they got it for war and for Negro removal, then they got it to run us our checks into perpetuity. Because that's how long they're going to have to. This ain't no one check and done. This is direct deposits ad nauseum. And you don't get that by continuing to show up to the polls to vote against Trump for the demon rats who betray you, who overpromise and underdeliver every time Negroes give them the White House. Joe Crow said, you had my back, I'm going to have yours. Yeah, I'm going to have yours as in I'm going to stab you all in it. Let's keep going. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Let's keep going, y'all.
Representative Hudson, is it true that 90% of the individuals charged, regardless of what your colleague on the panel just said with his facts and figures, 90% of the individuals charged or indicted with the $250 million Feeding Our Future COVID fraud are of Somali descent?
I believe that to be correct.
Are you aware that in a 2021 video, Mr. Ellison promised that he would obstruct his own agencies in their investigation of Somali fraud?
That's Keith Ellison, y'all, the Attorney General.
I am very much aware of that.
It's no wonder that criminals in the Somali community felt they were free to steal taxpayer dollars. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Marion. Do you have any doubt that Tim Walz knew about this fraud as it was occurring?
None whatsoever.
Walz and Ellison were protecting fraudsters instead of investigating them, and it was purposeful. And it's no coincidence that this is occurring largely in the Somali community. Walz made a sanctuary state, Minnesota, a sanctuary state. He gave free health care, free college, and free licenses to illegals. And Walz looked the other way when Somali immigrants were stealing.
Now, J.B. Pritzker is giving free college to the illegals in Chicago. Let's continue.
Representative Robbins, do you have any doubt that Tim Walz knew about this fraud as it was occurring?
Fair use.
None whatsoever.
So all three of you have no doubt in your minds that Tim Walz knew about the $9 billion of fraud during his tenure as governor and did nothing about it. It looks like my time is about to expire, and I do want to say to all of you, on behalf of Minnesota, thank you for being here, and justice will be served. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, I'm just trying to exhibit to you today in this broadcast how they were fully aware of the fraud that was going on. They are fully aware. Let's keep going. I want to memorialize these things here. They sit up here and lie and act like, oh, like I showed you at the top, well, towards the middle when I showed the commercial with the babies. He was sitting up here trying to pretend that the Somalians didn't even know that they were signed up for such fraud. Baby, this runs deep. And Negroes have got to stop voting for this nonsense. You have to vote against this like y'all went out there and voted against Trump in 2020. That's what I implore you to do. This is all we got. And when the nation becomes California, where is the Negro going and with what? Let's continue. Ethics questions swirl around Somalia's UN ambassador. Oh, I don't want to do Ohio right now. We'll come back to that. Sorry, y'all. They're so creative. Okay, y'all, that's enough of that one. Let's keep the class going. Let's keep the class going, y'all. I apologize. I just have to laugh a little bit, y'all, to keep from screaming so darn much. It breaks up my screaming, y'all. It breaks it up a little bit. What is this one? Benny Johnson. Okay, we're going to do Ohio in a separate vid. I like this one, though. Let's talk about it. She was right, though. I got to show her. She cooked.
I want to talk about how the average American is starting to feel as major corruption is being exposed, especially now with the case in Minnesota and the daycare fraud. This is not just about money being stolen anymore. It's about a growing feeling that being a good citizen, being a hardworking person, paying your taxes may not be worth it. People are starting to feel stupid. They think, well, I'm here, I'm playing by the rules, I am working hard, I'm providing for my family, I'm doing the hard work, and I'm the idiot. You see the memes online and we laugh, like, oh, me on my way to work, thinking that I should have just opened a daycare center in Minnesota and made millions. And again, it is funny, but it's also deeply sad because the next thing is, why am I even doing this? And that's the part that no one wants to talk about because this kind of feeling shapes culture. I come from Brazil, as you know, and in Brazil we have this thing we call the Brazilian way, which is the idea that there's always a shortcut, there's always a loophole, a way to take advantage of a situation. And people think it comes out of nowhere. Oh, it's just the Brazilian way of living. No, this comes from years of Brazilian people being robbed and nothing being done with the thieves. So we now think that survival means cheating the system before it cheats you. Eventually, people stop believing that being honest is rewarded. When a society teaches its citizens that being honest makes you a loser, well, that's really dangerous. You don't just lose money, you lose trust, you lose dignity, you lose the culture that holds it all together. And once that's gone, it's really hard to get back.
Well, no lies detected there. No lies detected. You do get to a point, family, when you see this level of fraud with the help of the Demonrat enablers, it makes you wonder, why in the world am I working 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs? You know, it really incenses me, especially when our people are turned away for Section 8. I've shared with y'all in previous broadcasts how our people were down at some town hall where Maxine Waters was laughing at them and telling them to go home, and they said we were homeless after they exposed this Hispanic woman that was in charge of the Section 8 that was denying all the Negroes who needed Section 8 housing here in Southern California. She laughed when the woman said, go home, we don't have a home. This is what the Demonrats think of you. And so when you see fraud on this scale in every Demonratically ran city and state, it really makes you wonder, why do I keep being honest? Be honest anyway, family. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Keep getting up with integrity. Get to your jobs. Be as great as you are on those jobs. And provide for your families, because everything done in the dark is coming to light. And Trump has not, well, I guess he's been in office a year coming up, but he's got 3 more years to shut these Demonrats down. And I'm here to help him in every way that I can. For their intentional neglect and ethno-genocidal plans for the Negro freedmen and our justice claim. Yes, I am. Let's keep going. But yeah, you do feel some kind of way, like what in the hey? But I'm here to tell you, family, for everything they've done, it really sheds light on delineation. We've got glacier donkeys delineating on our behalf now. With the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, for those of you who don't know what that is, when we had about 20,000 fighting for delineation, and they denied us because who's that fool? Mark Morial from the National Urban League came Johnny lately to fight for immigrants and flat blackness, because he said it would hurt their feelings if we were to delineate against them, when he knows full well that flat blackness is to ethnocide the Negro freedmen and our justice claim based on skin tone. He knows this. They're all in on it, and they're paid quite handsomely to be. Let's continue. I only got a few more. I'm not going to belabor too long because I do want to give my daughter some time. Oh, Lord. So, Nas wrote in this, this is Benny Johnson. I don't want to do Ohio. I apologize. I don't want to do Ohio. Not yet. We'll do that in a separate broadcast, okay, y'all? It's just too much. I got to do a whole research and put my little live together. So I'll deal with Ohio in a separate one. It's coming soon. It's coming up next. Not next as in today, but it'll be coming soon, within this week sometime, okay? Might be next Saturday. Might be Saturday, but yeah. I don't want to deal with that right now. Here's another video I want to share with you all about how these Demonrats know exactly what they're doing. They are getting kickbacks, and this brother tells it to a reporter very seamlessly, and I want him to share. Stand by. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. It's very important that everyone see this, family. It's very, very important that we get the message out, especially to our youth, our millennials, our Gen Zers. They need to know what these demon rats are doing, because these demon rats are all over our HBCUs. These demon rats in the INS UJs are all over our HBCU campuses doing Jedi mind tricks on our children and paying them to go over to Israel to get in bed with AIPAC and run for office. They are recruiting from our campuses when they're not at the Ivies. They are heavy in the Divine Nine, and these campuses are predominant immigrant. I don't know, because they do flat black, I don't know specifically the percentages of Negro freedmen as compared to the immigrants that are on our HBCU campus. But what I can tell you is this. What I can tell you is that our HBCUs, the good ones, run you between tuition, dorms, and other fees. I want to say a good $40,000 a year. Now, with that being said, how many Negro freedmen do you know would even qualify for that in a loan? How many? Only about 20% of us had degrees, and it's a stretch to have a six-figure job without working 2 or 3 of them. And so when you look at a government, especially the demon rats, hell-bent on giving free everything to the immigrants, the same is true at our HBCUs. These melanated and POC immigrants don't want for a thing. If the government isn't giving it to them, they've given it to their parents to build businesses in our communities. So they either have the money or they're giving the money over the Negro freedmen. And of course, not many of our people are able to put our children in private schools that teach them through a Negro lens. So when you're going to the public schools, they're catering to immigrants and illegals at the expense of our children's education to set them up, to set our poor up for the preschool to prison pipeline. So the ones that can even afford to be a part of the D9 are the roly-poly types, are the Joyless Reed types, are the Stephen, what's his name? That other buck, that other coon, Crayola. Stephen, oh, I can't think of his last name. He's a sports anchor. That's why you don't see many Negro freedmen in the mainstream media space. They will never allow someone like me over in that space. They would never allow a voice like mine that rides hard for the Negro freedmen. You will not see me on national TV. Now, I get invited from other Negro freedmen channels. I got something coming up next Saturday on my baby Consuelo's channel. She's out of Florida. I can't think of the name of the channel, but I'll try to get it for you guys so you'll know. I think it's next Sunday. Next Sunday it is. Okay. I think around 5 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock her time. I will share it as soon as I get the link, okay? But what they do is they put immigrants in these spaces where their messages can go national and viral. That's the way you ethnically cleanse the Negro under flat blackness. You don't allow the true, authentic voices to come forward like mine. You won't pay us the multiple 6 figures in the millions like you would say a Gayle King. These coons, unkes, these spoons, let's say spoons, Lord have mercy, they go, you don't see these spoons speaking like we do over here in the ScrewTube spaces. But I'm grateful to ScrewTube, even though they've shadow banned me and demonetized me, at least I can reach more people than I can here in SoCal, where we've been legislated out in the namesake of immigration. We don't have a voice here in California. That's why I'm trying to save the rest of the nation. I reach more people on my ScrewTube channel that's been shadow banned than I do if I were to take to the streets, which is far more dangerous. So that's why I can't tell you how many melanated immigrants are at these HBCUs, but they've taken over politically and they've taken over in our HBCUs under flat blackness. They're giving everything. Let's continue. I'll weigh in on this as spirit leads me, okay?
So millions and millions of taxpayer dollars have just disappeared.
Yeah,
fair
millions
use.
And millions of taxpayer dollars have disappeared.
And how do you think the government let this go on for so long without doing anything?
Because Walz is getting a kickback. You know he is. He's sitting in a mansion. We had a $6 billion deficit. You know what these senators did? They came out and blamed it on Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump did nothing. Nothing wrong. All these people, these Democrats, are blaming everything on Donald Trump when they can't hold our governor accountable in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, Donald Trump doesn't live here. He's not in charge of all these Somalians. It's really easy to figure out the fraud. All you have to do is go to one of these businesses and see that no one is working in there and there's no children in there. It's very easy to figure out the fraud. But yet Governor Walz, the people working for him, couldn't figure it out.
Nope, they couldn't until the federal government pressured them, until the Minnesota House was taken over by Republicans.
So had not Donald Trump won the election here, this Somalian fraud would just continue to go on.
Correct.
Okay, so you heard Tampon Timmy. You heard Tampon Timmy sitting up there trying to Demonrat explain. Oh, let me take that down. Yeah, I still had your little thing up, your comment up. But yeah, he tried to act as if, you saw in the previous video I showed, how he's trying to pretend like all of these investigations for fraud and all of these arrests were happening before Trump got in office and the feds got involved. I've already told y'all, when the Demonrats are talking, they are lying. When the Demonrats are talking, they are lying to get our people to sheepwalk to the polls to continue to vote against their own interests. A vote for the Demonrats. Excuse me, still got this little cough lingering. A vote for the Demonrats is a vote for immigrants and illegals, is a vote for your ethnic cleansing by economic genocide, is a vote against your reparations that they are currently spending on wars and illegals and immigrants to your ethnocide. Let's continue. I just got a few more. I've been closing them out, trying not to repeat myself over here, Lord have mercy, and making sure I don't show y'all nothing from the next broadcast on Ohio fraud, Somalis. That's going to be a different broadcast, okay? Now, in this video, I want to show you, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks. And what's his name? Jake, whatever the hell. He was also an immigrant. These are immigrants now. These are immigrants who have the unmitigated gall to act as if our unemployment rate being sky high is because we don't make ourselves competitive enough by learning Spanish. This is the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, talking with Ann Coulter. Let's listen to this nonsense.
To the local McDonald's, they wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly
let me start that over.
We're going in saying my kid applied to the local McDonald's, they wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly Black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants.
In a free market, of course, there will be competition for certain jobs, right? And so the most skilled worker is likely to get that position. Being bilingual is a skill. You're able to communicate. And I get it. If you're not bilingual, it makes you uncomfortable. You're not as competitive. But guess what? You know, we live in a country where you have all the resources at your fingertips. You can learn a language for free online. And so enough with this victimhood.
I just finished watching a clip of Tyreek Nichols' podcast talking about how there is no Black and Brown coalition and talking about the racism amongst white Hispanics specifically, and talking about how in LA right now it's a bunch of lawsuits running rampant about these Latino supervisors discriminating against their Black American employees. And I just want to say that not only is that not an LA thing, that's not even a California thing. That is an all over thing that are done by immigrants alike, but specifically with Hispanics. A couple of months ago, I was having a conversation with my ex, who is an HVAC technician. And we was talking about this, and I was just like, man, everywhere you go, it's a bunch of Hispanics. And then you go inside these stores, and they don't speak no English. How the fuck they even get hired? Whoop. So he was telling me the week before he was doing a job for Chase Bank, he walks in, all the Hispanics there, nobody speaks any English. There's one Black lady there, an older Black lady. He says, as he goes up, he's talking to her, showing her the work order and everything like that. He says, before he goes outside to get his ladder, he asks her, like, how did you even get this job? Like, how do you work here like this? And she said that she had been there over 20 years, got passed up for a promotion from a Latino man. A Latino man became the manager, and he slowly but surely fired, because she said there was white Americans and Black Americans working there, slowly fired them one by one. And now it's nothing but Hispanics, specifically white Hispanics. And this is also why I say the entire culture thing of POC and shit like that doesn't exist. Because a lot of them hide behind their white cosplay. A lot of these cop videos that you see, these are white passing Hispanics. You feel what I'm saying? And when I say that, people say I'm being hateful, but you can literally Google this cop. That's what I did. You feel what I'm saying?
So,
we're going in.
So, this is what I keep telling y'all that the Negroes keep voting for. Our children can't get the jobs, and then you've got Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks sitting up here making it our fault that we don't speak Spanish in an English-speaking country. If you were to go to Mexico, would they hire you and force the people that can't speak English to speak English in order to be competitive? Did you hear her trick ass sit up here and act like this is a matter of skill and abilities? When we know that this speaking Spanish bull crap, I told y'all, you can speak it as fluently as Pedro. They're not hiring you. And your people don't have the social capital to be at the hiring tables. And when they're at the hiring tables, they're usually melanated immigrants cosplaying you. These people have got our accents down, our lingo down, our whole vibe down. So you don't know if you're dealing with a melanated immigrant or not, if they're first or second gen. They cosplay us and tether onto everything that should be rightfully ours at the expense of our youth who can't get employment. And the young sister is right. It's not just a California thing. The nation is going the way California has gone. Our people are being required to know Spanish all throughout the country, family. In the country of our ancestors, and we don't have dual citizenship. There is nowhere we can go. We've got to fight for the only country we have ever known and will ever know. We got to fight for delineation. We must fight for deportations. We must fight for reparations. With the faith of the size of the mustard seed, we must continue to lean into these messages and make them go viral and teach our children. These people have come to take from you, and they give zero damns if it kills you and your entire lineage. It's got to matter to us who have a voice and who can afford to be on these social media sites. Our poor aren't necessarily on here getting this education. I'm speaking to those that are educated, that can fight back, that can run for office, that can weaponize their vote, that can take street teams out here and speak to the young brothers to get to the polls, to purposely and intentionally defeat the Demonrats for their intentional neglect and betrayal of us for the immigrants and the illegals who are our replacements. Let's continue. Good Lord. If that didn't incense you, I don't even know. That just makes me mad. Here's a sister speaking on it, how it's impacting us in the workforce. Hold on, y'all. Please be sure to give it a like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Hold on, I got to start it over.
Bureau of Labor and Statistics came out with the unemployment rate data that the Trump administration had been holding, and Black unemployment is at 8.3%. For reference, the average of unemployment for all racial demographics is 4.3%. For white people and Asian people in this country, it's below 4%. But it is 8.3% for Black Americans, which is the highest that it's been since 2021, I believe. Also, want to point out that when Trump took office in January, Black unemployment was 6.2%. It has not been a full year. And I say all of this to say, and I want to tell Black people, we are being gaslit. We are being targeted, especially those of us that are high income earners. We are being systematically targeted. And the data shows that. No matter how they try to spin it, no matter how they try to make it seem like it's not as bad as it is, 8.3% unemployment is huge. And if any other racial demographic of people had unemployment rates that high, it would be national news every single day. It would. It would. But people do not care because it's Black people. 8.3% unemployment.
Well, I want to correct this young sister because Trump has been in office. It hasn't even been a year yet. But this is what they love to do. They don't account for what happened when the Demonrats had control of the country for 16 of 20 years. They don't take into account what Joe Crow and Skamala did, dropping 25 million unvetted, unvaxxed illegals into our community to rob us of the resources, deny and deprive us of the resources, to start our own businesses, to hire our own. They don't talk about the intentional neglect that's back of that 8.3%. I believe it's higher than that. So yeah, while Trump did come in and he cleared out some federal jobs that did impact high income earners, I am over us intentionally looking away from the Demonrats' role in how we got here and want to put everything on Trump, and he ain't been here but a year. When you're measuring unemployment numbers, are you doing it right now? Or is there a series of time that has to pass for you to take the data? So while she is accurate in what I wanted to point out in what she was sharing, this is not just happening on the low level. I have shared with you all many times about how Wells Fargo Bank got rid of all the Negroes and replaced us with immigrants, and then conditioned them to commit fraud on the people that bank there. And John Stump got a $146 million golden parachute. This is happening all over. And it's not just on Trump. Although I do believe he could do more to bring corporate punishment to these people for doing exactly what I just described. They're not just doing it in the banking industry. It's across industries where we are the high income earners too. But this is largely due to the Demonrats when they are in control, over promising, under delivering, and catering to the immigrants and illegals and to never-ending wars with our reparations while never even mentioning us. They don't even mention us once they come to get those votes. They disappear until it's time for another midterm. So don't let that get lost in translation. They've had 16 of 20 years to get us up off this bottom. They've done nothing but gaslight and give us a hip-hop holiday. Symbolism. That's all they give you. Ketanji Brown Jackson, married to a whole glacier donkey, who doesn't even know what a woman is. Barack Obama, a king in American. Skamala, East Indian Brahmin caste and Jamaican. That is all they've given the Negro. But they'll sure overpromise. They're giving you studies for reparations that ain't going nowhere. And now in every democratically ran city and state where there's task force, they're doing everything they can to give it to all blacks. So why? They're doing everything they can, to give it to Negro freedmen and the Pan-Africans who are predominantly melanated immigrant in this country only. They don't practice Pan-Africanism over in Africa or the Caribbean. But you've got these Pan-Africans, these melanated immigrants sitting on our task force to ensure they get our reparations because they don't want to trade places. And the way it will go in this country, they'll be the ones to get it while we remain on the bottom and penniless. Y'all better wake up before it's too late. We are out of time. Let's continue. So I want to share Crash Out Crockett. This is a great vid.
She was shot in her head and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay.
We targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us.
Give her an award. That was good. That was good. So it took for a lady who got pew, who got something she could have prevented, for y'all to cry. Are you serious? Where was the tears at for these women? What happened? Where was the tears at for these young girls who lost their lives? Nothing? No, y'all just ignored it the entire time. And this is where we are right now. And you know what's so crazy is that nobody is talking about the fact that that woman who lost her life would still be here had we not had open borders. Don't say that. Don't say that. Had we not discovered that we were being robbed of billions of dollars by not only like illegal people who weren't even American citizens, but government officials, we would not have to worry about ICE being in people's neighborhoods. We would not have to worry about people taking money to cause problems for these agents, being hurt or worse. As you can see, there was nothing. There was crickets. None of y'all said anything. And now you want to cry? As much as this lady talks about white people and racism, you're crying for a white woman now, huh? Because she's on your side. Because she's standing up for what you believe in. You didn't cry for none of these white, Latino, and Black women who lost their lives because of the issue you created. Yeah, okay. Smallest violin in the world.
This is what the Demonrats are famous for. Creating our never-ending problems in this country, then wanting the Negro vote as the solution. Crash out Crockett. Fake crying over that woman that just got pew-pewed by ICE after trying to run ICE over. They don't want to talk about how they are paying these people to go out here and protest against ICE. These people are given theater classes to go out here and crash out over ICE and to make a plumb fool of themselves. They don't want to talk about how her LGBTQ wife told her to drive off. They don't want to talk about how they're agitating these things all throughout the country. This is not the only incident where ICE has been assaulted. There was a brother that was murked by an off-duty ICE personnel. They didn't cry and crash out over that. All them sisters that were shown in that video I just showed you were murked by the illegals they allowed into this country and let loose into our communities. They don't want to talk about that. But she want to fake cry about that woman who had agency, who drove hours. She drove hours from her home away from her kids who lost their dad, according to some reports I heard. She married to a whole another woman now. Drive 3 hours from her home to taunt ICE under the direction of the Demonrats, who are paying these people to interfere on behalf of illegals who have broken the law with the help of the Demonrats to be in our country, absorbing all of our resources. But niggering Negroes keep showing up to the polls. Well, listen, I don't even know if it's niggering Negroes, because when black is flat, you don't even know who is doing the bidding. Case in point, let me show you this vid. We're almost done with the videos. Then I'm coming to your comments. I don't know that I'll play all of this one. It's too long. But this is another crash out over what happened recently, over ICE.
We watched that man literally position himself in front of Renee's vehicle and shoot round after round after round into her. Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify every last single round. He shot her 3 times in the face. The rest of law enforcement made sure that no one in the crowd could render aid. There was an actual physician that said, hey, I'm a physician. Let me render aid.
Now, my question to you is this a Negro? And are those Negro backup singers behind him? Or are these melanated immigrants? This is what I mean, family. They have adopted everything that is us. They go out here cosplaying us. They put us on the front lines in these displays of grief and agony over a white lesbian woman who interfered with ICE, would not get out the car after her wife kept threatening ICE and taunting ICE. But you see how he flipped the script? Real Demonrat style? Let's continue. Is this us or is this them?
And they said, stand back and watch her die.
They want so badly to make it appear that Negroes are out here crashing out over these LGBTQ glacier donkeys, getting in the way with ICE, when this is what 28% of us voted for. Deportation, closed borders is what I voted for, not necessarily Trump. He was the only one offering it. But they want so badly to align us with their fight because we are resting. And they cannot stand that we are resting. So they'll find melanated immigrants to cosplay us to make it seem like Negroes are incensed, proportionately incensed, and out here risking our lives to fight for immigrants and illegals and glacier donkeys. Let's continue. And that is far from the truth.
And so our expectation is that in tragedies like this, law enforcement would undergo due diligence, determine whether or not a crime has been committed, and bring charges.
Yes.
And ultimately, for a jury, if this person appears, to bring a conviction. Now that's in the normal situation.
Yeah.
What we would normally expect to happen. But we're not dealing with normal times. These aren't normal situations. We have a federal government threatening other portions of its government and saying, if you hold anyone accountable, you'll be terminated. Say terminated.
Terminated.
You'll be fired. Say fired.
Fired.
You may be arrested. Say arrested.
Arrested.
And so they do nothing. We can expect nothing to come from the federal government. So what does that leave? It leaves the state. I'm here today to call upon our local officials to stand up. Say stand up.
Stand up.
And do something.
Do something.
Stand up.
Stand up.
And do something.
Do something.
Why did we send you here?
Yes.
Right. If the county attorney won't prosecute, if the attorney general won't prosecute, if the governor won't order an investigation, if the sheriff won't conduct an investigation, if the police chief won't conduct an investigation, and then if the BCA this morning will release a statement and say the feds told us to stay out of it, and then they say, okay,
Right.
we'll stay out of it. When have they ever done that? We cannot expect the federal government to do anything in this situation. And you all heard law professor Nikema say, we locally have the authority to investigate and to bring charges. Now, if a judge makes a jurisdictional determination later, so be it. But we expect this county attorney in this county, right here in Minneapolis, to bring charges.
Yes.
I've had enough. So basically what you see them trying to do here, family, tether babble. That's right, James. Tether babble. Yes. What you see them trying to do is change the narrative from the fraud that's been discovered. They want the heat to come up off of Tampon Timmy and Ilhan Omar, who Trump, I think, is trying to deport and denaturalize. As she sits up here real smug and act like it ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Well, I guess it is when you're now worth 30 million or more between you and your glacier donkey husband. Okay? Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, family. When you look at who's voting for this, when you look at who's speaking out against this, 9 times out of 10, it is not the Negro freedmen. But just in case they get froggy, I got to call them out. I got to read them from Genesis to Revelation. I got to read them their rosary beads and hope they get this and be shamed from participation. But I just want to show you that because you really cannot tell. This is how well they've got our vernacular down. They've got our cadence down. They got how we dress down. They got our style down. We've been studied by everyone. So we can't assume that it's one of us all the time. I just wanted for you to stick a pin in that and make that point. Let me show you this next one. I'm almost done here. Hold on, family. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I want to show you this. Uh-oh. I don't know if that was it. Uh-oh, what happened? Hold on, y'all. Let me stop sharing that. I was looking for... Okay, that's under X. Hold on, y'all. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Hold on, y'all. I'll tighten it up in the edits, okay? My apologies. So, Dap Ado's tribe, shout out to him, reviewing Governor Newsom's 26-27 California budget. I've got questions regarding the funding for the Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery. So that's been underlined in red. $25-26, $6,000 towards the Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery. SB 105. Nothing scheduled for 26-27. But he's going to want your vote for president, while pretending as if he's doing something concerning our reparations. Prepare for it. Nothing in the budget coming up. And I don't know, is that the same 6,000 they used for some type of plaque that they didn't get any permission for, or was that 50,000? I can't recall. And I don't know if this is 600. Is this I don't really know if there are any more zeros to be had. This seems appropriations, Budget Act appropriation. Okay, that's maybe six. Yeah, that's 6,000. 6,000 measly dollars. This is what the Demonrats think of you. And nothing planned for this upcoming year. No money allocated from the state. After having us go into task force hearings for 2 years, then giving any real money that came of it, they gave $6 million to the Cal State to study how we should approach genealogy without a genealogy department, when a birth certificate will do. Mine says Negro. I don't know any African or Caribbeans whose birth certificates say Negro on it. If your birth certificate says Negro, colored, or mulatto, you descend from the emancipated in this country. And then they gave another $6 million to some nonprofit that doesn't even do reparations work. And in 25-26, a measly $6,000 towards the Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery. Let that sink in. As we're about to approach $100 billion in fraud from the homelessness crises out here that they ain't spent no money on, which the largest of the people that are homeless are us, it ain't them. All the fraud that's been committed. They spent this money on illegals. They spent it on immigrants. They've lined their own pockets. They spent it on the pandemic. And fraud was happening within all of it. It's coming out. Bill Asaley has only scratched the surface. He's a Republican out here who tried to get our bills on the floor after they were passed by the CBLC, the California Black Legislative Caucus, passed them, but would not bring a motion to the floor to make it law out here. Bill Asaley was the Republican that tried to get Byron Isaacs to actually bring the bills to the floor. He refused and flipped the script and tried to talk about arrest and black people being arrested and just doing whatever he could while on camera. I don't even know if he knew he was on camera, to obfuscate Bill's demand that there was a ton of us out there at the state's capital who wanted to see the bills come to the floor. A complete waste of time, as it will prove to be in every Demonratically ran city and state throughout. Now, they got something going in San Francisco. I'll have to research it, but I'm not hopeful. I feel like it's another Demonrat play to get the handful of Negroes that are up there to get to the polls to continue to vote against their own interests, to vote for their own ethnic cleansing by economic genocide with immigrants and illegals alike. Because that's generally what the Demonrats do. They pretend to be about that Negro life, but they're not. It's all political theater. And my last video for the day, let me set it up. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Hold on, family. I'm going to bookend it with this. Fair use. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance.
Members. For the record, my name is Marion Rurick, and I am currently serving in the Minnesota House of Representatives in House District 29B. I am a member on the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee, which was recently formed in January of 25. I was first asked to serve on the committee in January, on January 4th, and soon after, the 5 Republican members began to meet. During one of those discussions, I was asked to reach out to the Department of Human Services whistleblowers on X, now called Minnesota Staff Fraud Reporting Commentary. I had been following them in the previous year. I reached out through a direct tweet on X on January 16th, and the very same day I got a response back that yes, they would be willing to speak to the Fraud Prevention Committee. Since that first contact, Chair Robbins and I and Representative Hudson have had multiple conference calls with them, and we have had one in-person meeting. At that meeting, they were both former and current employees. I've continued to message with them very often, sometimes daily, and their collective message has been completely consistent. Instead of focusing on fraudsters, DHS leadership instead focused its surveillance on employees. Since then, their expressed fear of retaliation has intensified under an avalanche of fraud in Minnesota. Their numbers have grown from 480 DHS employees, both current and former, to over 1,000 across multiple state agencies. They have told me repeatedly how grateful they are to the House Fraud Prevention Committee for focusing our attention on fraud in the state programs, using their inside information while keeping them completely protected. They have explained that they live in a constant state of fear of retaliation. One only has to look at what happened to Faye Bernstein to understand why. In a very recent Newsweek article dated December 13th of 25, Ms. Bernstein, a former compliance specialist, stated, Minnesota DHS functions in the opposite manner as you would think. Employees who suggest improvements or, heaven forbid, report fraud then face significant retaliation. The messenger is shot. In 2019, Bernstein said she alerted Minnesota DHS officials to sloppy contracting practices that were not legally compliant. But it's not what most people would even consider fraud. She says she was later escorted out of the building, faced lengthy investigation, got trespassed from all DHS owned and leased properties, and received involuntary transfer to another state agency. So she says, so today if someone asks me, should I report fraud within DHS? I say, no, no, no. It is career suicide plus a whole lot more. So let's talk about that plus a whole lot more. In our face-to-face meetings with a group of whistleblowers, they revealed that retaliation now includes threats of being fired with cause, which means you do not get unemployment insurance in the state of Minnesota, being blacklisted from all state agencies, and I would note most likely our largest counties as well, which are Democrat run. And then there was a veiled threat of the use of military intelligence against them. They later informed me that it was discovered that in some targeted employees or suspected whistleblowers' personnel files were pictures of their homes and their cars. They also described that supervisors asked them questions about their families that to them felt like a threat. One example was, we need to know where your kids go to school and where their bus stops are. I will also note that whistleblowers we spoke to described many times that DHS used surveillance programs to surveil employees' emails and chats and other communications, looking for keywords like fraud, double billing, underspending, and overpayments. One example that the whistleblowers let me know about Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. April 12th, 2024. Flanagan comes to a DHS Health and Human Services Equity Conference at the Heritage Center and Brooklyn Center. On stage, Flanagan acknowledges the X account and the fraud concerns it raised and publicly denounced the X users and called them weirdos and losers sitting in their mother's basement. This was in a public setting with hundreds of participants and it elicited gasps among the crowd. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, when Tampon Timmy and the Demonrats and the fraud Somalis pretend like they had no idea that fraud was being allowed in Minnesota in the billions of dollars, now you know with certainty that they knew, they participated, their pockets were lined, they were getting kickbacks and using it on their elections and to line their own pockets and to lift themselves up while telling us to lift ourselves up by our bootless straps. This is why I'm on a mission all the way to heaven to defeat them for several election cycles until they're begging us to cut our checks. The Demonrats will never have control Now, I know you say, well, the Republicans are no different. Well, the bottom line is both parties suck for the Negro. I'm talking about the weaponization of our vote and socializing our suffering. Because although we may have the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, underemployment, and evictions, it was no different under the Demonrats. But at least all these other immigrants and illegals are at war with each other. While we rest and let our ancestors bring about the justice we've been fighting forever for. This is a protest vote I'm calling for. You don't have to vote for the president, but you need to seize control of your local politics before you are officially legislated out. Now, this is encroaching on the South. It's spreading all over the nation. Because Negroes aren't running for office and they're not weaponizing their votes. They're choosing the couch. And once you lose the war, you set your lineage one step closer to ethnic cleansing, ethnocide. Because we can't survive these streets, and we should not be trying to survive no streets and trying to survive in a car. Not being descendants of the emancipated, not being descendants of those who are responsible for industrialization in this country and were robbed of their patents by the glacier donkeys, the colonizers, and the Ellis Islanders. Most of what you see that made this country great was the brain trust of our people dating all the way back to slavery and prior. That was us. That's our line. We got nowhere to go, y'all. And of course, we're outmoneyed, we're outmanned, and we're outgunned. But you still got your vote. Now, you can't sit up here and pretend like your vote don't count when it's clearly been counting for illegals and immigrants to overtake you in your communities. Stop telling yourself that lie. You find the candidates who are for deportation, closed borders, and you research their record if they've been in office for some time. And get out there and run yourself. Now, I can't run because I'm totally about the Negro. I don't know how to have the interests of other folks. I don't want to. I'm throwing everybody off the tit. But we need some people that, like Pamela Denise Long, who's running for Senate of Chicago. We need to support these candidates. Let me pull up her website. Thank you, Yaira, for the money blessing. Thank you so much for blessing the live. And thank you for previously blessing the live. I think you were the biggest sponsor, the largest donor of the last live, too. Bless you, sweetheart. Thank you so much for that. Let me bring up her website, because this is what we got. We got to support all over the nation. I supported Marcel Dixon. I'm not in was he South Carolina? I'm in California, but I can put recurring payments on the Negro freedmen that are running on reparations. Let me bring up her website, y'all, and put this in the chat. Here she is. I'm going to actually probably go over Afro Elite's interview with her, or I wonder if ETM Media Group has done one too. I'm going to go over it and chime in. Let me share my screen. Just a second, y'all. Many of you all may know her from the X Spaces. She's a live wire and very much about Negro freedmen. And that's what I love about her running for Senate on the Republican ticket. That's another thing. We need to run either as independents or as Republicans, okay? I'm trying to find her. Hold on one second. Website. I don't know. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why it's not coming up. Oh, hold on one second, y'all. Let me go to Google. longforsenate2026.com. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And I'm going to copy and paste this in the chat. Okay. Now, let's get into a little bit of her page. Pamela Denise Long, Reason, Unity, Vision, paid for by the Long for Senate 26. You all can volunteer, host an event. So she's got economic growth, parental rights. She's against all this gender changing, transgender crap for our children to be able to change their sex as early as 5. Out here in California, if you don't allow your children to identify as anything other than how God made them, you literally can have your kids taken from you by social services. So she's trying to put a stop to all that. She's definitely for secure borders, safety and criminal justice, strong men and boys. She's definitely for strong Black men and boys, health and well-being, economic growth. Here she is. I'm just going to read this briefly. Of the people, by the people, for all the people. We are in a fight for the soul of our nation. Cancel culture is off the rails. Gender ideology has gone too far. Mass immigration has flooded our neighborhoods and job sites. Property taxes have risen over 200% due to poorly invested state pension obligations, burdening families and threatening national interests. Crime and inconsistent criminal justice undermine the safety of communities in Illinois and across the country. Haven't you had enough? Her name is Dr. Pamela Denise Long. She's a 7th-generation American, occupational therapist, political commentator, doctor of organizational development, and visionary Republican since the Obama era. That's when things changed for me too. After 2 terms of Obama, I was done. Stick a fork in me. I'm running for U.S. Senate to represent the people of Illinois, all of us. I never wanted to be a politician. I was convinced to run for office after Illinoisans tapped me to help stop the flood of illegal immigrants into Chicago. Unlike the powers that be, I've spent the last 4 years and hundreds of hours listening to a diverse array of Americans express their needs and concerns. I see the Black American voting bloc has finally begun to divorce the Demonrat party. That's my term. At the same time, Americans of all stripes are sick of the divisive rhetoric that gets politicians elected but keeps neighbors apart. It's past time for real talk, real solutions, real vision, and real representation. You can help. Donate, volunteer, and host campaign roundtables in your community. I want to hear from you. She is one of our very own. She's on lineage-based investment. She wants something more immediate. Investment plan to close the lineage wealth gap and reduce federal public spending. So, redirect $4.1 billion in existing annual minority-focused funding. Equity in Black-owned businesses and real estate, housing grants and down payment assistance, student debt restructuring and job training, baby bonds. So she shows you in 4 years, Black American out of poverty with a $4.1 billion investment. Now, to put that into context, we've got $100 billion. We're approaching $100 billion in fraud in California. Tampon Timmy in Minnesota is at $9 billion fraud and counting. She's asking for a measly $4.1 billion to get us out of poverty in 4 years. $400 billion. That's a 5-year savings. Projected outcomes is what I'm reading here. 18 million Black Americans out of poverty, 7.2 trillion 20-year savings. 30 million Black Americans out of poverty, 24 trillion, 40-year savings. Now, lineage-based investment, the conversation about reparations would have been closed if Democrats had not assassinated Republican President Abraham Lincoln and sabotaged Reconstruction. Black Americans have reported reparations as a top issue for members of the Congressional Black Caucus. I affectionately call them Congressional Black Caucuses because they're now dominated by immigrants fighting for themselves, not us. Black people comprise nearly 30% of the population in Chicago. We're about 6% now in California, or less, because I think that 6% includes melanated immigrants. My proposed redirection of current minority-focused spending addresses a fiscally responsible, morally sound investment that puts Americans first, adheres to originalism, and moves toward closure on the issue. The proposal redirects $4.125 billion annually, half of the existing minority-focused federal program spending, specifically toward Black Americans descended from U.S. chattel slaves, which she calls, instead of foundational Black Americans, legacy Black Americans, who are also the survivors and descendants of Jim Crow, separate but unequal segregation. Since the 1960s Negro Civil Rights era, all groups have been shoehorned into the programs that were targeted toward the founding Black population, who were the reason for the Civil Rights era and its legislation. This includes handing out special dispensations for Africans and Caribbeans and other immigrants, sexual preference, sex, and gender. Since 1965, federal programs for minorities have continually broadened and often dilute the impact on Black Americans whose lineage-based harm remains structurally unresolved. So basically what she's looking for is a Reconstruction 2.0. In the June 2023 Supreme Court ruling on affirmative action, the conservative justices demonstrated moral clarity and historical originalism when they noted that Black Americans, descendants of the founding Black population, are protected based on injury that was allowed by the government, not based on race. It doesn't include all Black people, or like I call them, melanated immigrants. They're not Black. They may be black in skin tone, but they're not the black Americans we are. And that's the problem with flat blackness. Over 40 to 50 years of implementation, my proposed redirection, if strategically invested, could drive 90% of black Americans out of poverty/economic inconsistency, generate up to $24 trillion in government savings, and begin to close the 850,000 lineage wealth gap. The proposal does not raise taxes and can be implemented without adding to deficits. The program operates with efficiency to drive impacts and return on investment and effectiveness to minimize waste and avoid opportunistic mission creep, particularly through a relaunch of the Freedmen's Bureau, which was initially authorized by Republicans in 1865 and quickly sabotaged by Democrats. So they've been undermining us for a long ass time, family. A targeted Americans First investment strategy with adherence to originalism, not simply direct transfers, can drive long-term wealth creation, self-sufficiency, and reduce the need for government assistance. Well, as long as there's guardrails, as long as there's audits and oversight, simply giving out small checks annually with no interest, investment, or multiplier effect would take millennia to close that wealth gap, and large checks could increase deficits absent a concomitant reallocation of new or existing funds. Only direct redistribution equals a longer timeline, little growth. Strategic investing equals shorter timeline, compounding growth, policy multipliers. Well, as long as you've got certain things in place, I don't believe it should be in lieu of reparations, because I believe in my reparations directly depositing into my account, but she does not call this reparations, okay? But this is probably more feasible, especially if she's fortunate enough to win the race for Senate. I trust her to get it done lockstep with the repugnant clans than I do the Demonrats. Let me read your comments and do our declare and decree and pray us out. I'm only hitting up the pertinent ones, y'all. We already been here, what, 2 hours? Lord have mercy. So basically, I was welcoming everyone to the live, and I'm encouraging you to lean in. You can see that the revolution has been social mediaized. You must continue to lean in. You can't afford to give in, up, or out. Neither can our children. Yes, that track was definitely smoking. That was Ishmael Friedman, Ishymel from TikTok. There's also it's called Lineage Music 12 is the YouTube. She's got, it seems to me like on TikTok she's got more selections. It seems like this is the only song on Lineage Music 12. But I can't wait for more to come. That I had to share that track. It was just fire. It just did something for me. And it was so rich and epic to couple it with Byron Donaldson's cosplaying us, as did Joyless Reed every time she opens her mouth. This is how you revise history and ethnocide a whole entire lineage. You put melanated immigrants in front of our story to steal it. And so shout out to Ishmael Friedman, Lineage Music 12. I don't know if that's AI. I don't know, but it is fire. It is fire. And I love it so much. I might bookend it with today's broadcast. It was so rich. So yes, I agree. We need more tracks like that, Ishmael, if you're listening. More. We love it. Martin Norwood, I see you, fam. Miyashi Middleton, I see you, fam. 4584, welcome to the live. I'm just skipping down, y'all, trying to get the pertinent. Black Delegation Network, FBA. Oh, Lord. Sorry, y'all. Black Delegation Network, FBA. I see you, fam. Peace and blessings says, hopefully these idiots would be charged as well as Ilhan be deported. Enough is enough. We have had enough. Deportations 2026. Yes, family. I've got immigrant fatigue, glacier donkey fatigue, illegal fatigue, Demonrat fatigue, even repugnant clan fatigue in some instances. Okay? I'm ready for it all to end, and we must continue to lean into the protest vote and make sure we defeat them at the polls in 26. You must do it. If you allow them to get a hold of the House or the Senate, it's a wrap for the Negro. It's vitally important that we lock them out and not allow them a majority. It's critical. Yes, they're doing this in Minnesota, Ohio, New Jersey, and some other states. The Demonratic Party is anti-American. And even greater than being anti-American, Black Delegation Network, FBA, they are anti-Negro freedmen. They are anti-us. They seek to get rid of us and our justice claim. Sheena says when they get a high position on the job, they get rid of non-Hispanics. They replace them with Hispanics who don't speak English. Vallarta, the grocery store, is under investigation. You're right, Sheena. This is what they're doing all over the nation. They all need to come under investigation for discrimination. They all do. And if the blacks are on that job, they've got hell to pay because they're constantly doing everything they can to undermine and get them fired from those jobs, if they're fortunate enough to have one. The Negroes have won cases out here in California of discrimination by these Hispanics. So there is no black and brown coalition. All of it needs to be investigated because they're not hiring us. And we shouldn't have to know Spanish in our English-speaking country. They should be made to speak English because most of them do. What do you mean by the boomers reversing their mortgages? Most are leaving their heirs little to nothing. Yes, well, that's how you leave them little to nothing, Brewski. When you reverse the mortgage, you get the money out the house. By the time you transition, the bank owns that house. That's what I mean by reversing their mortgages. They were able to benefit as homeowners. Our children cannot afford homes because they've got the highest rates of unemployment and underemployment, meaning they're not being paid commensurate with immigrants in this country of their ancestors. Meaning the median home price in the country is around $500,000. So that's what I mean by the boomers are reversing their mortgages, ensuring exactly to your point that they're leaving their line little to nothing. They're enjoying that money right now. So if your home is paid off, you reverse the mortgage, you get whatever that home is worth, and you spend it in your retirement. There's nothing left, not even the house for your offspring. That's what they're doing. I know because I was actually in banking. Hi, Sandra Del Reed 360. I see you, fam. Yes, tampon Timmy. Because this idiot allowed tampons in the boys' bathroom. Yeah, tampon Timmy has a nice fat bank account. Keep cooking, sis. Yes, family. You know how I do. It may take me a minute to get over here because I got to put my stories together. And I mean, it's a lot of research to narrow it down to where we're not here for a week. There's so much richness out here. But like I said, I have to compartmentalize and do them one state at a time because the whole goal is to defeat the Dems in November. And I only got 11 months, really 10 and a half now. We halfway through. Well, not, yeah, quite, almost. Yes, baby. So I'm on a mission all the way to heaven. He needs to walk away from the campaign because he has been accepting kickbacks from the light bulb heads. Of course. And that's going to be exposed even if he steps down. Trump ain't taking no prisoners. They sit up here and committed political lawfare against him. Hey, he lied just like they did and said he wasn't going to be on his get back. Oh, he on his get back. He on his get back. And I'm here for it, honey. Eat my popcorn and sipping my hot pipe and tea. Yes, I am. I'm loving it. Yes, Black delegation, they need to investigate Skamala while he ran with her. Absolutely. She had $2 billion that she blew through. That's what I mean, family. All their money can't buy the Negro vote, which is why we must weaponize it and return the missiles that they have been leveling at us since Reconstruction. Walps needs to prep for prison like David. Girl, that story is just heart-wrenching, ain't it? Hold on, y'all. Okay, hold on. Enough is enough. Return to sender. We've had enough. Yes, we have. It's time to go home, like the video at the top of the broadcast says. Also, they cut their spending. And also, they cut their spending in Minnesota. Yeah. Well, if they're stealing it all, they're going to, of course, cut the spending where it matters. That's happening all over the country. Your roads take a hit. Your people, our lineage becomes more homeless, having to survive on credit cards to feed their families. Newsom is as bad, if not worse, than Walz. He needs to prep for prison too. Absolutely, fam. Yeah, they're going to all be falling like dominoes. JB Prickster. Yes, indeed, fam. We get the ancestors getting them all out the paint. Hi, Trey Lincoln. I see you, fam. White supremacy is not working for that white Brazilian. Boo-hoo. I thought immigrants were less likely to commit crimes. The big forehead Somalis proved that to be a lie. Honey, not only did we think that they were less likely to commit crimes, it's such a propaganda. Aren't they the hardest working? Didn't they come over here with a quarter and pull themselves up by the bootleg strap while they look at the Negro freedmen and wonder why we still on the bottom and ain't taking advantage of this wonderful country? Yeah, girl, the propaganda. Pinky Wells, I see you, fam. Because they will always find someone other than us to give that six-figure job to. Of course they're denying us. Stephen A. Smith, thank you, Brewski. Yeah, that tether. These are the likes that they put on national TV. I don't know of any Negroes that got the status that Joy Les Reed once had, that Roly-Poly Martin once had, and that Stephen Smith now has. I mean, aren't they paying him like $100 million, something ridiculous, for him to be out here speaking on us? Make sure you let us know. I will be there. Oh, you're talking about Consuelo's video. Yes. I will definitely share the link in all my spaces because you know I'm being shadow banned. When she creates the link for that broadcast that I'm partnering with her in, she's a Republican in Florida. And we're doing that broadcast next Sunday. So more than likely, I'll come to you with my broadcast on Saturday so that I can join her on her broadcast Sunday. And I will definitely let you know. It won't happen because too many of our people have finally awakened. Oh, honey, isn't it a beautiful sight to behold? We must continue to lean in, though. That's why I keep showing up. It would be dangerous for us in these California streets. That's right, Pinky. I've been out there when they've torn up my flyers in my face when I was fighting for reparations. Too many of immigrants out here. Okay, the Negro freedmen, I think it was Pinky or someone shared, they've been pushed out to the outskirts or out of the state altogether if they can afford to leave. That same fraud is going on in California home health care by the Armenians. Go into any office building here and you will find at least 20 of those companies in there. Oh, yes, I hope Bill Aselli exposes all of it, sis. So every foreign language that comes into America, we will need to learn. Exactly. Well, this is the way they discriminate against us while taking away the right to sue based on discrimination. That's why we must use our identifiers, Negro freedman, Black American. We must continue to delineate so that we can fight for everything based on lineage, not race. Why don't they learn the language of this land, English? Well, family, this is by design. I keep stressing that the way the Demonrats ethnically cleanse us by economic genocide with illegals and immigrants is to flood our communities with unvetted, unvaxxed illegals. Give them free housing, free healthcare, free cash aid, free food stamps, free job fairs, and employment. Make it a standard that Negroes speak Spanish so they will be denied jobs. And if you're bilingual, they're paying you more. That's the way they underemploy you. They will pay you more while not hiring you. They're paying the Hispanics because they know Spanish. They push abortion down the throats of our poor while allowing illegals to birth citizens with our 14A. They push the LGBTQIA XYZ agenda down our throats in our classrooms. Make it difficult for the parents to parent their children, locking you up and taking your kids from you if you don't allow them to self-identify by any other gender than what God made them. They flood your music with it. They flood your movies with it. They flood your TV shows with it, with the helps of the likes of a Tyler Perry, P. Diddy, Jay-Z, Beyonce. They force all these immigrant women down the throats of our men who are too ignorant to understand that Negro love is a real revolution. Negro love, marriage, and babies. They push that interracial sexual access on our brothers hard. They push the preschool to prison pipeline. Dumb down our children. They push focusing on the needs of all these immigrants and illegals while our children are set up for the preschool to prison pipeline. I say all that to say that's why they don't learn the language of this land. Because they don't have to, because that's part of the Demonrat plan to ethnically cleanse us. The war on drugs, the war on poverty. Brewski says not every language, just the language of the foreigners they employ. So that's only about 30 or so languages that we have to learn. I ain't learning nothing. These companies are who we need to focus on. They allow it. Yes, that's what I'm waiting for Trump to do. You see, it's futile to do all these deportations and not put these corporations who violate, what is that? There's something in place where they're supposed to be vetting these people to ensure they're citizens. The name won't land. It'll come to me, Chop. But these corporations, if you don't jail them, if you don't give them stiff fines and penalties, this will continue as soon as the Demonrats get back in control of the country. If they get another trifecta, the Demonrats, that is, they're going to make another 50 to 70 million illegals citizens. That's why we have to stop them in Obama-style numbers during the midterm and the next general. They hire their own under the guise that they hire the most qualified. Exactly, Pinky. They want to present that the very Negroes who descend from the emancipated were smart enough post-slavery and when they upended Reconstruction to establish 50 Black Wall Streets, but aren't smart enough to do a McDonald's job. They have to put that out there to make it seem like either Negroes don't want to work, they're too lazy, they aren't smart enough. Yeah, they use all of that. They don't want to work. That's their best go-to propaganda. When Negroes been working forever. We ain't never stopped working. But these are the things they use. I was listening to the Black Authority last night. Some Hispanic woman come on there wanting to build an allyship while denying how racist they are out here in California. He exposed her so well in that exchange. Oh my God. He exposed her arse. Do you hear me? How they don't hire us. How when we get positioned over them, they start to firebomb us out of our own communities. They will do things to drive you out of your own community and take it over while the government stands by and does nothing. So that's her excuse. Well, most of the people work in Hispanic run and owned and operated who only speak Spanish. Surely Negroes don't want to be amongst a bunch of Spanish speakers. Surely they don't want these jobs where they don't even know Spanish. And yet you see them in Black businesses. You see them establishing soul food restaurants. Them and the Asians who are allowed small business loans in our communities to take over our cuisine and not hire us. You should not be buying where you can't work. Yes, the Orange Man made English the official language of the U.S. How is this still going on? Because it's not been stopped at the state level. That's how the fraud is continuing. Until the states are held responsible for this and go through all these small businesses that are doing this and discriminating against the hires of the Negro, it will continue. And I don't even know, fam, if that was an EO or did he make it law? If it's an EO, it'll be reversed again. Once the Demonrats get in control, which I'm trying to prevent. Why are we the only ones required to learn Spanish to have a job? Well, we're not the only ones required, but we are the only ones they discriminate against if we don't know it. White folks can still get a job in those spaces because usually the whites and the Hispanics who identify as white are lockstep on this agenda to not hire blacks. I'm the only Negro in my territory, and I replaced a Negro that was retiring. The rest are white and immigrants. Let that sink in. When this ish started, our elders should have been fighting it. Like I said, the elders are well taken care of. They fought long enough to get their pockets lined. They fought long enough to get jobs, and that was long before we were at what? I mean, where are we at now? How many immigrants are in this country? Let me ask. You know, Immigration Act was 64. Let me see here. Hold 1 second. Let me ask Google. How many immigrants? Well, we could do the math. There are about 333 million people in the U.S. If you subtract 50 million of us, what's that? That's how many immigrants are in this country. 333 minus 50 is there's 283 million immigrants to our 50 million. We're not immigrants. We're either here before Columbus or we're refugees. I believe very little in this slave ship story. I don't see any remnants. I believe that we are the natives, the indigenous. And just like they lied about our history now, they lied about it then too. They've stolen our lineage and stolen our reparations as a result. You see lots of people coming out here proving their Indian lineage because the Indians enslaved us too, based on the color of our skin. So I've not delved deep enough, but Arthur Watkins over in X Space is dropping gems. I think there's another one, Copper American, is dropping gems. Now you see our people winning victories on the federal level to reclaim what was stolen from them in terms of their Indian heritage. And now that they've been recognized by the federal government, now the mestizos and the whites who stole our identity have to unask the reparations they've been feasting on. That's the next fight, now that they've been able to force the federal government to recognize them as Cherokee, as Choctaw, as Seminole. I believe far more of us are from that ilk than we are from Africa on some slave ships where you ain't never seen no relics. Other than, like I mentioned, Clotilda. You watch the Netflix movie Descendant, there was an illegal slave ship that they found remnants of down south. Was it Mississippi? I can't remember, y'all. But yeah, you mean to tell me y'all want to push this narrative that we all came on slave ships and the only remnants you can find is from an illegal slave ship that came over here after they ended the transatlantic slave trade? Come on now. Instead, they too were telling us to learn Spanish. Yeah, that's a form of discrimination. 8.3% for the Americans. Foreigners get employed before us. Yes, for the Americans. I understand, Pinky. You're instead of Black Americans, you're saying for us. Yeah, for the freedmen. Our unemployment numbers are through the roof. And not only do they hire foreigners, but melanated immigrants are made wealthier because that is who they're hiring in lieu of us. That is who the congressional Black caucuses are fighting for on the Hill, not us. That is who the congressional Black caucuses, which are comprised mostly of melanated immigrants and spoons, they're fighting for them, not us. We're just simply taxed without representation. And if we don't stop the demon rats, there'll be 100 million. And we'll be reduced to ashes. That's correct, Michi Middleton, Mashia Middleton. Not all elders have checked out. I have quite a few elders that roll with me on the protest vote. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all that listened and were open at the top and went out there and did what had to be done. So let me explain. Not all of anything, but it's enough to be a burr under the satchel. You understand? A burr up my behind. So I got to call it out. So no, I don't mean all of anything. There are exceptions. But I have to move and ebb and flow as if we have no allies. Because if we do, I can't tell. When unemployment goes over 6% for whites, the government extends unemployment and starts cutting relief checks. Of course. That's why I was saying that I want my reparations direct deposited. So Denise is fighting for something more immediate. Okay, that's cool. I like her plan. But it doesn't stop the fight for reparations on a nationwide. Yes, I want my stuff to direct deposit, just like the Cherokees have their casino funds direct deposit. Just like the Oos, the U's, have their monies direct deposited. Because I don't trust them with my money. I see what they're doing with my reparations already. Not all, just most. You know what? James Brown Crockett is a tether. That would not surprise me, fam, because something is really awry. Something is really awry the way she fights and crashes out. She reminds me of like a Sheila Jackson Lee. I think a lot of them are tethers, and they're not, you can't find where their parents descend from or their grandparents. These people feel like first and second gen to me. What goes around comes around. Remember, there is a God, and he will turn things around in our favor. Michi Middleton, you said a word right there. You know, I am highly spiritual. Yes, I am. This I know. And I know God gives me the strength to come to y'all live. I know that all things are working for the good of us who have a heart for our inner Christ. Because I know who we are as God's chosen, as God's favorite. And things are turning around and the ancestors are busy at work. And I am sitting back, eating my popcorn and sipping on my hot pipe of tea. What's up with these Negroes like Crockett and Van Jones crashing out with tears for immigrants? Is that a condition of the payoff? Correct, Brewski. I have never seen so many niggering Negroes crying. What is wrong with these sugar pants out here crying on national TV? It is highly embarrassing. But yeah, they get paid quite well. Hell, Crash Out Crockett is crashing out for Ionis Zay Ujays without being paid yet. At least Byron Donaldson's tether ass has got $45 million from Marion Adelson, who's Jewish. Crash Out Crockett must be interviewing to get her campaign funded in the same way, because she's crashing out for them for free. But I never believed that anyway. I don't believe she's doing it for free. Since we've got an AIPAC tracker, I believe they have cleverly came up with other ways to line the pockets of these sellouts. I don't believe she's doing it for free. But because you don't see her on AIPAC, you can assume she does it for free. But I'm here to tell you, they have found another way to pay that crashly blabbermouth Crockett. Orange County, Florida, and Orange County, California are both hotbeds of tether leadership. You better know it. Hi, SJ200. Welcome to the live, fam. They actively work against the freedmen. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, she is a tether at James Brown, and they scrubbed her records. Wow. I would love to know, Yaira or James, tell me, what's her lineage? I would love to know. They let them set up entire enclaves, and freedmen are being made to scatter like roaches with no camaraderie and cohesion with freedmen. The illusion of inclusion is real amongst some of us. SJ200, you said a word right there. It's absolutely the gospel truth. That's what's happening in real time. And that's why we have to weaponize the only commodity we've got left, our votes. They are all cosplaying imports. Yes, yes, American. Welcome to the live. Stephen from Janko on the mic. That's rich. James Brown. Thank you. I needed that laugh. Oh, Lord. Yes, family. I'm scrolling, y'all. Wait, you say Yaira. Don't forget about the adult diapers that was in God's car. They stalk and wait and use them. I don't know who God is. We don't do that, say BS. They are pathetic, and we need to sue them. Yes, we do. That woman was taunting ICE agents, and she won the stupid prize. She effed around and found out, didn't she, Pinky? Yes, she did. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, he did call him out. Are you talking about at the top of the broadcast, American, or did he call out the Demonrats crashing out over the Becky that, refused to adhere to ICE and her life was taken? I haven't heard that one yet. Y'all been busy. We just have to let it be known those are tethers. Absolutely. They hate when we call them that, but it's the absolute gospel truth. They deliberately left those borders open to cause a conflict between the immigrants and the Negro. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep them in this country. Yes, indeed, it was deliberate. It was to ethnically cleanse us by economic genocide. That's why they were only placed in our communities, not the white communities, nor the immigrant communities, and what's left of the Black communities after immigrant gentrification. GUD protecting tethers who don't give a damn about her. What a way to go. GUD. Governor, what? I don't know what that is. UD. I don't know. A bunch of feudal tether babbling bushmeat eating bird. Y'all, they don't have our spirit, and that's why they will be defeated. They rehearsed. Of course they rehearsed. These tethers keep their head in the sand. That's their fleeing mentality. Yes, it is, Yaira. Hi, George Wichard III. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm blessed and unstoppable. I've been doing wonderful. How are you? I'm sure the same. I'm having a good time watching the wars happen all over the country. It's just rich and epic that the Negroes can relax for a change. It's only been 600 years. This is the first time I have never felt more at peace than to see all of them at war with each other. That's what I voted for. Okay. Yes, Tucker shouted out the FBAs and Tyreek. Yes, $6,000. That was last year. Nothing earmarked for this year. You saw it with your own eyes. Voting is quid pro. Well, no votes allocated to them. That's right. We have to vote against them, family. The goal is to go out and vote against them. We cannot allow them to win the House nor the Senate. We must keep it repugnant clan for now, especially with Trump in power. Let's not make his role any harder. I got my issues with Trump, but my issues are multiplied by 1,000,000 that I've got with the Demonrats, okay? So, like I always say, y'all can't get us caught up in a lesser of two evil vote. And y'all can't get us caught up in a perpetual cycle of lesser of two evil voting, then decide you go sit your ass on the couch when the lineage is on the line. Did you hear about Rama Slimy bodyguard? No, I haven't heard that one, babe. She's talking to Pinky. Trafficking that fit. You know it, fam. I heard Bill Asaley state that even though he didn't agree with some of the bill provisions, he didn't want the repugnant clans to be scapegoated by the Demonrats for not getting the bill to the floor. Very smart strategy. Mission accomplished. It was rich. Skamala lost, didn't she? They couldn't scapegoat it. Cameras were everywhere. It was rich. Flanagan needs some prison time too. So what happened to Smarmy Swarmy's bodyguard? Trafficking. What? Yeah, y'all find that story. I'm gonna look for it too. They keep saying they will sit on the couch until they get a reparations check. Well, Pinky, they were sitting on the couch before they got a reparations check, before we even made reparations a national household term. 40% was sitting on the couch before Barack Obama. And as a result, we are on the bottom in every metric of American life. So that clearly isn't working. And that's why I'm talking against it. And I've actually had some recruits. I had some people go out and get their asses off the couch to vote for Trump. So if I could be instrumental in aiding 28% to the poll for the protest vote, that's a hint for me to keep going. It is suspected that some of those stolen funds were used to purchase real estate in Kenya, which the U.S. is negotiating with Kenya to confiscate. Yes, indeed. There's also, it's been alleged that it's been used to fund terrorism over in Somalia. I don't believe in a couch. If anyone takes a couch, you may not have one shortly. I love that, Yaira. You coined that the last election cycle. She's absolutely correct. You gonna look up and not have a couch to sit on if you keep your ass on the couch. Y'all can't sit on the couch now. The stakes are too high. I think even Tyreek got off the couch and went out here and voted for Trump. And he was a ringleader of the couch vote. And I think some of his comrades joined him. It was reported by news media here in Minnesota that Tim Walz will be officially resigning as governor next week. Woo! Welcome to the live, Benton 7560. I sure hope so. And I hope they're planning to bring him to trial and throw him under the jail. Somalis built 10-story apartment buildings in Kenya. I seen a video. There were at least 20. Yes, family, they've been doing great things with the billions Tampon Timmy and Ilhan Omar allowed. Yeah. That's why she don't give a damn if she gets deported. Do you know how well she can live on $30+ million in Somalia? The Trump administration sent federal officials to Minnesota to discuss bringing federal charges to indict Walz and the Somalis with criminal indictments because of all the fraud here in Minnesota. I pray Gavin Newsom is next. That's my hope and my prayer. Our folks should check out the interview that Dr. Pamela Denise Long did on the Afro Elite channel. She did great. I've been following her for a few years. Yes, she did, Brewski. I'm hopeful to show it here as well. I would vote for Denise, but I don't live in Illinois. I also would vote for Greg Marcel Dixon, but I don't live in the Carolinas. They are both good candidates for Friedman, FBA. I agree, says Benton 7560. Absolutely, fam. And we need more of them, more of their ilk running throughout the country. And we need to put our money where our mouth is and support them on recurring payments. Dr. Pam is mostly on point. I would support her if I were in Illinois. Me too. Well, you can support her campaign like we did Marcel's. You can still contribute to her campaign. Marcel Dixon is not running this year. Absolutely. But when he ran, I had his payments on recurring. Who's not one of us, sis? Pamela Denise Long is one of us. She's FBA. Wait a minute, Pinky. She's second-gen citizen. I just heard Angela say second-gen American. Oh, no. Not Pamela Denise Long. She is Negro Freedman. 7 generations that she could track her history back to. No, she's us, baby. I apologize if I spoke out of turn. Y'all know. She's not from an immigrant background. That's right. I'm a first-term Obama. Did not vote the second term. Lord, I love you, smarty pants. I wish I hadn't voted the second term. Yeah, she's one of us, you all. Yeah. Okay, I think we're just about done. Angela, did I hear you read she's second gen? No, baby. She is, Pamela Denise Long is one of us. Okay, baby. I apologize if that slipped out of my mouth. She's definitely us. 7th generation. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I know. Most of us made the mistake of wanting to see one of us as president. We thought he was one of us, but he's king and American. We didn't understand the consequences of tether infiltration until later. Very true. I'd have never voted for his ass. And if Michelle runs, I won't be voting for her. I ain't vote for Demonrats, period, at the end. I ain't voting for immigrants, period, at the end. Okay? And the only way you get my vote is that you're Negro Freedman and you are for us. Because, see, you could be a spoon, you will not get my vote. Our people always give their votes to foreigners. Well, they don't know like we know, Pinky. They're still stuck on identity and respectability pie tricks. So that's why they're voting. They're not voting for if they had the knowledge we've got over here, they wouldn't be doing it. That's why we got to keep teaching. I followed Dr. Pam for a few years. She's official FBA. She fully backs our play. Yes, she does. She's us. Thank you, Queen. Just downloaded Lineage Music 12. I want to thank, who helped me with that? Someone told me to do that. Oh, they watched the live. It was in one of my live chats. I can't recall which one of my co-hosts told me that. Oh, thank you, Perry Dunham. Welcome to the live. Thank you for the love in my Cash App. $ TRP TV, y'all. And also get the likes up because that pushes me up in the algorithms. So even with the shadow ban, more people can find me. That was generous. Thank you. And thank you, Yaira. I haven't looked to see what you blessed me, but thank you. Keith Ellison, who is FBA, is the AG in Minnesota that allowed the fraud Somalis to do what they did with taxpayer money. Omar will eventually be caught and convicted, but I don't know if she'll be deported. Well, Benton, I'd be glad for a conviction for Keith Ellison, a conviction for Ilhan, and a conviction for Tampon Timmy. That would please me greatly. Then that's just Minnesota. I want Pritzker to go to jail. I want BJ, Brandon Johnson. I want Newscomb to go to jail. Karen Bass to go to jail. Yeah. Thank you for the boomer clarification. You are correct. That is exactly what most of the selfish boomers are doing. Yes, baby. I know not all because quite a few helped me out with the vote. The money probability came from the scamming. Yes. Scammerless money probably came from the scamming. Somalis. I wouldn't put it past anything. I don't put it past these Demonrats to be taking money from illegal sources to fund their campaigns. So glad we defeated her at the polls. Trump's finance officer came to Minnesota and held a press conference with law enforcement where they discussed bringing federal indictments on everyone involved in a Somali fraud in Minnesota. Yay, Benton. Thank you for this excellent news. I appreciate it because you are bookending the broadcast because I'm not going back into Minnesota anymore. I've got too many other states to expose. So thank you, Benton, 7560. The fatigue, honey. I'm a Republican in California. I'm an independent in California who votes for repugnant clans. I don't believe we should be declared to no party. I believe we should all go out here and change our registration to independent and vote against the Demonrats. Hold your nose if you got to. I can't imagine what it would be like to flee to another nation and then the indigenous population turn sentiments toward deportations. Must suck to be them. Oh, well. Yes, it sucks for them. It sucks to be you. I give zero damns. I tell you, I'm having the best time ever. I am always more at peace when Trump is in control of the country. Not necessarily repugnant clans because the rhinos are in bed with the Demonrats. But Trump is all right with me. And keep in mind, he didn't become a racist until he turned against the Demonrats. He's the only president you hear giving credit to the Negro for building the country and telling the world that 14A is for the babies of slaves. I ain't never heard no Demonrat give us that kind of credit. BS in Claire, future billionaire. E-Verify. Thank you, love. That's right. I believe that the corporations with 3 Ks should be thrown under the jail for not enforcing E-Verify. Thank you all for helping me when I get minnow fog. I told y'all, I'm a Gen Xer, okay? But I border the boomer. So thank you for helping me out with my minnow fog, okay? They don't need to push hard interracial relationships on our men. They welcome it, and a lot of those men will be in these pro-American chats. Just watch, they boast about it. Honey, you already see, Pinky, you had to talk me down that last time that idiot came over here bragging about his Latina wife and children. Honey, please. I have no tolerance for it. I was just, basically stating that's being weaponized against us to kill the line. Prayerfully, the niggard Negroes will wake up and find themselves and teach their boys to find a Negro woman to love and marry and make babies with. I'm keeping hope alive. I got a daughter that needs a beautiful, wonderful, God-loving Negro man that can provide, protect, and profess his unwavering love for her and their offspring. I get that they have to be in a partnership because that's what it takes these days, but I'm really praying for that for her. Yeah, that's my prayer for my daughter. The No Child Left Behind policy was a disservice for my nephew who is struggling in school. It set him up for failure. Sheena, 209, it set up most of our children for failure. And a lot of our kids were really failed during the pandemic. When they were sent home, it put them on the fast track to failure and to the preschool to prison pipeline. I don't believe that's going to happen for your nephew because he's got you as an auntie. But you all definitely have to intervene. I had to get my daughter all kinds of tutors after the number that was done to her given the pandemic. So yeah, we got to save our children. And you see our people buying from those soul food restaurants owned and operated by the others. Yes, Pinky, they do, niggardly. I saw that Black Authority segment with that Latina tether. He used her to put on a clinic exposing those immigrants' cognitive dissonance and entitlement. It was brilliance. It was wonderful. You see, I'm too emotional. I don't know that I would have had the calm, cool collectedness of the Black Authority to get through that. But it was epic. Y'all need to check that out. That was last night's broadcast. Is E-Verify the thing you were trying to think of? Yes, baby. Thank you. Boomers aren't selfish getting reverse mortgages. It's their home. They don't have to leave anything to anyone. Not sharing your shit is not selfish. Well, Pinky, you must be amongst them. I disagree. Now, if the boomers have fallen on hard times, need to reverse their mortgages to take care of themselves, I get that. But a lot of them are reversing it to go and have a great time. And I say, what's going to happen to our children? I'm very concerned about being the reparations for my child until this country unasses it for her or her kids. I really don't know who's going to get it, but I know I'm in the fight to my last breath. That's what I know. And I believe that the boomers should absolutely give a damn about how their children and their grandkids and their great-grandkids are going to make it once they make the transition and have no home. You're very vulnerable if you don't own a home because these rents are triple what my mortgage is out here. They are triple. To rent is triple my mortgage. Let that sink in. So if you're okay with your offspring eventually becoming homeless, then I guess you could selfishly reverse your mortgage and give zero damns about how they're going to make it. But my daughter's going to always have a home to come to that she will own. I'm trying to get more property that I can bequeath her. It's hard to do out here because you need at least $150,000 a year to $200,000 for one of these $1 million homes. That pre-pandemic was $500,000. So yeah. Unfortunately, making English the official language was an EO. Well, see, there you have it. If he don't make it law, that's why you don't see it enforced nowhere. The Demonrats will make Spanish official when they get back into office just to be spiteful and demonic. Yep, that's what they're doing. That's what they did when they flood the zone, with illegals. You already here. at the top of my broadcast when I introduced my intro how Joe Crow pivoted on the question of reparations to give Hispanics all the credit. I've called this out at the task force hearings. I call it out every place I have a mic to speak. So yeah, they purposely and intentionally seek to harm us. ChatGPT says the 4.5 million emancipated should be 100 million by 2025. B. Sinclair, future billionaire. I love your title. Well, you know, that would be great, but I don't know. We've got a lot of nefarious plans leveled at us by the Demonrats that are doing everything in their power to ensure that never happens. I heard that exchange with the Latino and Jason Black. Wasn't it rich? It's epic. I loved it. Pinky, are you a boomer? You sure do sound like him. Top Flight TV, Reparations, Deportations, Delineation. Yes, pal. It was my state in Alabama. Oh, that's where they found the Clotilda, George Richard III. Wow. Okay, I knew it was in the South. It's been a while since I watched that documentary called Descendant. Y'all check it out, okay? I believe there was some slaves, but nowhere near as many as claimed. And I've read that only 5% came here, and some of them were bought by slave traders and taken to the Caribbean. Honey, I believe that more than I believe in the lies that's been told that we're all Africans. We're not. We were here before Columbus. He said he saw us when he got off the damn ships after he landed on us. You can't discover something already in existence. You can happen upon it. How do you think the other groups keep their wealth if they didn't pass it down? Because of the mentality of the selfish, like the boomers. Black people start from scratch each generation. I agree. No, I'm not. I just don't think anyone should have to share what they work for if they don't want to. And those people getting reverse mortgages probably to pay living expenses. And boomers are people too. Brisky says, if they were thinking about their heirs, they wouldn't be cashing out all their wealth for self-Negro BS. That is, if they care about their legacy. So what exactly were they working for? That should have read selfish Negro BS. They had their time for their fun. Are they going to just party to the grave and leave their children who they chose to have destitute? Brewski, I think you've been watching too much Reparationist perspective. No disrespect to the elders. If you're lucky, you will be one yourself someday. Yeah, that's right. I'm fortunate. I pray to be fortunate to be an elder. Is it disrespectful to have children and leave them nothing or next to nothing to build on? Are you on the Start from Scratch program too? Renee Good. Good. Renee Good. Girl, I always catch up with what you trying to say, Yaira, after the live goes off, the light bulb turns on. Girl, help me out. Who is Renee Good? Don't bring gender warring BS into your rationale about boomer being selfish to their heirs. Okay, y'all. I will bring gender into this. That's who you need to talk. Mothers are preparing for their children's future. It's ridiculous here in California. I agree. Bigot Biden. That's right, James Brown. Joe Crow with 3 Ks. All right, y'all. I think I finally finished y'all comments. So you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you the moral of the story. And I'm going to do our declare and decree. And do our prayer of protection. The moral of the story is I'm super, uber, duper proud of the revolution and how y'all have social mediaized it. I'm super, duper, uber proud of your beauty, your brilliance. Yeah, your talents. How we're getting on code all over the country. How y'all feel like family. And I ain't even met, but I think the only one I've actually met in the live chat today is Satra and Yaira. But y'all feel like my brothers and my sisters. I'm super, uber, duper proud that you're getting it, that the light bulb is turning on, that you are making messaging go viral, that you are tuned in to the new Negro media, and the others call themselves the new Black media. I am the new Negro Freedman media. My broadcast is to reach more of my tribe in this revolution of those of us who fight like the ancestors who fought back. Yeah, I do these lives to recruit more people, to recruit more of us to my protest voter strategy. That's what I'm on. Okay, and pushing out calls to actions and exposing the Demonrat enablers. It's been a good time today. I'm so glad you joined me. I'll tighten it up after it renders so we don't have all them hoes with me hunting and pecking for my little different lives. But I'm proud of y'all. I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of the Negro Freedmen. Because if it wasn't for us in these social media spaces, in X, in Facebook, Instagram, ScrewTube, and we wouldn't be where we are. I see you, Indigenous Warrior 18. Thank you for joining the live. Yeah, we wouldn't be where we are right now. We are in a beautiful position where the world is coming to understand historically and present day who we are. It's rich, it's epic. And I want to give a special shout out to the ancestors. Thank you. Because I know you got a role in this. I know you got a hand in this, and I'm eternally grateful to the ancestors for giving me the strength I need to carry on. I thank you guys for blessing the broadcast, for blessing my voice as an advocate exclusively for the Negro Freedmen. Thank you. I'm eternally grateful to each and every one of you. I'm eternally grateful to each and every one of you who will like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Thank you. So, the moral of the story is keep being you. Brilliant, beautiful, magical. Keep being the unicorns you are. Keep understanding that you are the moral compass in this country. Keep understanding that everything done in the dark will come to light. Keep loving each other, believing in each other, helping each other. Yeah. All of that. Because y'all are all of that to me. Never forget it. Let's go. I got to get y'all prayed out. I'm sure my daughter is hungry. And I'm sure she is tired of hearing me scream over the broadcast. But I've had a good time with this one. I hope it peed you off just as much as it pissed me off so that you'll get out here and do something about it come the midterms, come the next general. That's what I need this messaging to go viral, is to vote against the Demonrats. That's what, I think I do this broadcast to stress that point and to do my declare and decree and my prayer protection. That's the part that I look forward to getting to every broadcast. The more of the broadcast, the declare and decree, and the prayer protection. And my outro, which is fire. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the Popo, CPS, Child Protective Services, judges, attorneys, Demonrats, Republicans, FBI agents, the CIA, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporations with 3 Ks with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states, across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Negro freedmen and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until we meet again, family, I'm believing for each and every one of us a ton of peace, love, reparations, deportations, and delineation, family. I love y'all. Negro freedmen strong. Yes, I do. Stay tuned for the outro, family.
Y'all don't hear us. Y'all don't hear us. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen.
Pack your bag, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind, we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave. Hey.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
You landed on the tarmac, fresh off the boat. Talking about y'all building nothing, man, you choking on the note. My ancestors the reason that this country even breathes. Picked the cotton, built the White House, planted the seed. Jim Crow laws, redlined the map, we was the target. You think that struggle's a costume, man, you can't mark it. We fought the wars, we bled the blood, we died for our future's chance. And you come here and give our legacy a side eye while throwing shade on the guard. While you benefit from doors we kicked down with our last breath. Now you spit on the architects who stared down death. Disrespectful, that's disrespectful, ungrateful, a slap in the face to only people who gave a fuck. So let me show your ungrateful ass to the right place.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind and we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your disrespect and just fly on.
Passport, the visa, the privilege to be here. Cause my grandma did march for y'all, so disappear from our land. You cosplaying our pain. Think it's a trend you can borrow, but you ain't inherit the ghosts of our sorrow. We the foundation, the bedrock, the soil, and the root. You not no branch on our tree, and unproductive people always cosplaying me.
Talking about we ain't do nothing, you lost your mind. We built this from nothing, time after time.
From the beginning to now, we been the backbone and muscle. Why you look down on the struggle and cause a whole tussle? That energy sky was disgusting, it's whack.
So let's make it clear, there's no turning back.
This land is paid for in full.
In blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams deferred.
You don't get to come into a house we built from the dirt and telling Black America y'all ain't worth nothing. That's a violation, facts.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
It's our soil on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
Show respect, this our ground, y'all just tenants on a leash.
Or get the step.
Show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your business, I can just lay on.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your business, I can just lay on.
Yeah, fly little birdies.
Fly on back to where you came from.
This ain't for you. The cell is sacred.
We said what we said.
It's time
For y'all to go home. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. Bye bye, little birds.